Hello and welcome back to the From a Skein podcast. It's been a long hiatus and there's only one of us here with you. My name is Kristen. You can find me as Knitting Chris on Ravelry, Instagram. I don't share, my Facebook is just a personal account, so I don't have any Facebook. I am outside on my deck. I live at the base of a mountain in Pennsylvania, and you might hear some cars going by sometimes in the evenings. It is a late Sunday evening, so sometimes in the evenings you will hear some traffic, so I apologize. I hope it's not too disturbing. But I just wanted to come on here and sort of just kind of maybe invigorate the channel again, restart doing a little bit of a podcast. So I wanted to do a real short one and just show some things that I've done. I've been in, as everybody refers to, their era, the blanket era, and two of my nephews have gotten married this year, so that is where most of my knitting time has gone, is to blankets that I've gifted them as part of their wedding gifts. So I have one that I'm finishing up and only needs a couple more rows, and I will show that in the future. The other one has been gifted, but I thought I would show some other things I've done maybe in the past year and one other thing that I'm working on right now. So I will start, one of my favorite things to knit, not always to wear, but to knit, is socks. So I thought I would start a little bit with that. These are ones that I finished up, I think, last fall, and they're on wooden sock blockers. These wooden sock blockers were purchased a long time ago from the Luby U. I don't believe that they still carry anything like this, and they were in the small, medium size. So I'm sorry, but there are lots of places on Etsy that you can find sock blockers. I believe Knit Picks carries a sort of like plastic version as well. Do I block my socks? I'm not gonna lie, I don't. They're more really for display and pretty, like for showing people. When I might put them on the blockers after I knit them and just let them on there to relax the stitches, but after I wash the socks or soak them, I really don't put them on here to dry. So I really feel like it's for display purposes, really. These are, there's two, so there are two. And these are done in the Ruby and Roses yarn, and I believe it's her soft rose sock, which I believe is an 80% merino, 20% nylon. It's a very plump base fingering weight sock yarn. It's a very nice sock. I just did a standard, my standard sock recipe. Basically I do about 24 rows of ribbing at the top, knit 2, purl 2. And I do between 45, 50 rows of legs, rows of knitting for the leg, and then a traditional heel flap and a gusset in the sock. And then these were made to fit probably about between a 6 and 7 inch foot, women's foot, and then I would do the increases for the toe. So they were done. I'm really bad about weaving in ends, so the ends aren't woven in. I'm bad about that in any project. I'm bad about blocking. I'm bad about weaving in ends. Finishing is not my strength. I love the knitting. I'm very much a process knitter. I like the process of it. I'm not always about the finished product, but I know that my oldest daughter will probably absolutely love these. So hopefully, I'll get those ends woven in and be able to give them to her at some point. So I wanted to show you that. As I said, I'm working and currently finishing up a blanket for my youngest nephew. There's a lot of traffic right now, so I apologize if you're just hang for a second. For my youngest nephew and his wife. So I am finishing that up. The other thing that I am knitting is a pair of socks. Not for me. These are clearly too big. These blockers are probably the size my foot would be. So I am US 6 to 7. These socks that I made here are probably more for women's size 8. Again, the, the yarn is not woven in, the finishing is not done on this sock. This is the first sock, and this is the Beehive yarns. She's a dyer from the United Kingdom, from England. I absolutely love her yarn. So her, this is her Audrey base, named after Audrey Hepburn. It is I believe 25% nylon, 75% merino wool. It feels more, a little bit tougher wearing than most. It's a good, sturdy, I think, sock yarn. And it is one of her sock sets. And I'm sorry that I just really don't know the colorway on this. I did have it at one time. I think it's something flower, geranium flower, whatever. It is, the thing I like about her dyeing is very subtle. It's not, the other socks that I had were very bright, which is great. I like to work with that. That can be really happy, super nice. This dyeing is very, if you see, it's very muted, very soft. I like to even define it as romantic, very just tender. The colorways are gentle, and I like that about her dyeing. It's beautiful. Her shipping for being overseas is super fast when you order anything from her. So this has again 24 rounds of knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. I think about 50 rounds on the leg, and then the traditional heel flap and a gusset. And this heel flap is done in a contrasting color. And then the heel turn itself is done in that contrasting color. And then when I start the gusset, I go back to the main color. And what that does really is you just have to have a little bit of yarn management there. So I really don't feel like it's too hard to do, but it is a little bit fussy for about a round or two. Completely manageable, nothing that you couldn't certainly do. And then again, this is made to fit 8. Usually what I do is I measure from the heel back here to about 8 inches out, and then I will start the toe decreases. Again, the toe here is done in an alternating or an alternate color, so you will see that done. And to prove that I don't have the second sock syndrome, I have the second sock started, and again 24 rounds of the knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. I'm knitting my socks, and most of them I do nowadays. For the leg and the foot, I knit them on a 9-inch circular needle. There's a lot of debate about that. Over the years, I have adjusted works well for my hands. I have very small hands, so it's not a grip issue for me. It doesn't cause pain in my hands to knit with this size needle. It's actually very comfortable. It's very fast for me. So I am enjoying this. I'm pretty near the point where I can soon start the heel flap on this one, so that'll be nice to have that done, and then I can zoom through the foot. I feel like once you get that heel flap done, the rest of the sock feels like it goes pretty quickly. And then I'll have a nice another pair of finished socks, and here, just to show you, is the yarn kind of balled up in a cake form. And this is done on a, wound up on a ball winder and swift that I use from the hank that it comes in. So it's a beautiful sort of peachy pink. I don't know if it's coming across there, with pops of like a brighter pink, some greens, even some a little bit of chartreuse at times in there. I don't know if you can see or not there, but that's a pretty good representation of that color of the yarn. And again, it's just so beautifully dyed. I am always very impressed with her beautiful colors, and always excited to be knitting with her hand-dyed yarn. I typically knit with hand-dyed wool yarn. I like just find that I prefer it. I will knit with some commercial wool yarns. They certainly are workhorses and will wear really well, but I found that, you know, if you have a high nylon content on these hand-dyed yarns, that does just as well. So anyway, I just wanted to pop in to say hello and to say that I'm going to try to be putting out a podcast, maybe just a short one every once in a while, maybe just when I have a finished object, and upload it here. I would certainly invite, you know, any of my friends who wanted to come on the channel to join me as well. I'm not sure that they would. You know, COVID kind of hit, and we didn't meet as much anymore for knitting. So it's been a little bit different, but anyway, I'm still enjoying the knitting and hoping to get back to my creative self. When I'm not creating, there just really is something missing, I feel like, from my life. So I'm really enjoying getting back into the knitting, the music. I am not a musician by trade, but by by choice, and you know, playing the piano and just you know, exploring that side of my adult self again. So I'm excited for that as well, to grow in that area. So anyway, good to see you, and hope that you are having a great summer so far. Hope that you enjoy the view from my deck, because it is a gorgeous one. It is just about golden hour, the time of day when the sun just hits perfectly right through the trees. We don't get much of the sunset here that I get to see, but I will say that it is just, it's beautiful, and it's lovely to live here. I wish you well. My clicker needs a new battery because it's been a while, so you will see my arm reach up to turn off the video, but I hope that you have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.